Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, bringing you the first episode in a new playthrough of Mount and Blade Warband Viking Conquest, in which we'll be joining King Catigern of Cornwallum, one of the last few kings of the Britons, in uniting all of Britannia under one rule. As the King of Cornwallum, we reign over one of the last few bastions of the Britons. Most of the island has fallen to the Saxons over the last several hundred years, and still more of it falls to the Danes every day. To our immediate east, we have the Kingdom of Wessex, which is Christian and Saxon, and one of the more powerful kingdoms still in Britain. To their north, we have the Mercians, who are perhaps the most powerful of the Saxon kingdoms. And then to their immediate east, we have the East Anglians, who have bent knee to the Danes and are essentially one of their puppets. To our immediate north, we have a few of the minor Briton kingdoms that still remain. And to the far, far north, we have the Kingdom of Gwynedd, which is the strongest of the Briton kingdoms and perhaps our main rival. So in order to unite Britain under one rule, we first need to unite the Britons under one rule, and that will be our first goal. To the north of them, we have the Northumbrians, one of the Saxon kingdoms still trying to hold out against the Danes. And then we have the Scots, who are struggling with the Danes themselves. The Danes have, of course, landed in the north of Scotland and are beginning to colonize. And then to our west, we have the Irish, who have their own struggles. We cannot rely on them as an ally, despite them also struggling against the Danes, because they are taking up raiding themselves and looking to take advantage of the Britons' weakness. Then, of course, to the far, far east, we have the various Germanic peoples that would seek to raid and conquer us, the most notable of which being the Danes themselves, launching out of Reba to raid the British Isles. So we are mostly alone in this endeavor. However, King Catigern is prepared to do what he must to conquer the Isles for himself. He flies the red dragon banner of King Arthur to show his proud British heritage, and he's mustered an army of over 400 men. In his retinue, we have Egil, the Swede, Bodo, a Briton noble, Bioka, a Saxon priest who is now one of Catigern's chief advisors, Solveig, a famous shield maiden from the north, Drustin, another Briton, just a simple man-at-arms, and then Clovis, a Frankish horseman who is the commander of our cavalry force, as well as the trainer of most of our soldiers. We have 17 Frankish horsemen that he brought along with him, a single Briton noble, and a handful of Briton horsemen. Donchad and Kristoff Olsen are the commanders of our British warriors, Reginhard being the standard bearer for our warriors. Then we have Helgi and Asbjorn, the commander of our spear wall, as well as Siolin, who is the standard bearer for them. Then finally we have Epherdil and Merrick Skian, who are our archer and skirmisher commanders, and Agathinos, our resident engineer, as well as the standard bearer for our skirmishers, and from the Byzantine Empire to boot. And so we have, as you can see here, a small number of warriors, a decent-sized elite spear wall, several archers, and then a reserve force of generic spearmen. And so our army has pretty good balance. The battle sizes are scaled to be about 152 a side per battle, so we'll only be seeing this top portion for the most part. These guys will only ever see action once we've sort of exhausted the front end here. And so with this large force, as well as our vassals and their smaller but also formidable forces, we are going to attempt to again conquer the Isles for ourselves. Specifically England, basically everything south of Hadrian's Wall, which is here. But as we continue to conquer, our ambition may grow to expand beyond that. However, we will face many threats, both from the British Isles as we conquer, as well as from outside, in the form of raiders either from Denmark or from Ireland, or potentially from somewhere up north. So we will have a lot to consider as we move forward. I am not going to get into the playthrough as of yet. This is just going to be sort of an introductory video. I would like to get some feedback from you guys as to where we should start with our conquering. We have, again, the Saxon Kingdom of Wessex to our immediate east. We do share a border with them. We also have the Welsh, I don't know, they're not technically Welsh yet, but we have the other Briton kingdoms in what will become Wales to our north, and that would also supply us with a port if we were to take Cardiff here. So that's another consideration that we have. Either way, it'll be a considerable challenge. We are a very, very small kingdom. We do, however, have 2 lords following us, again with armies, and obviously a considerable army ourselves. So we will have to figure out where is going to be the best place for us to attack first, and how best to go about that. Personally, I think securing a port is very important, but I think securing our eastern border is also very important. And as it stands right now, we have sort of interlocking territories with the Kingdom of Wessex. You can see our border is somewhere along the lines here, that Roman fort being neutral. So if we could extend our border to maybe Wilhelm here, that would give us a river and a mountain range to sort of block off our territory. However, that would require us to conquer, I believe, Wilton here as well. Although I could be wrong. Either way, we are going to want to find some place that we can easily secure our borders. Obviously, if we push too far, we're going to really struggle to deal with them. And fighting this entire kingdom is going to be really, really challenging because they are going to be a lot bigger than we are. This kingdom is going to be easier to deal with, however, we are going to have to use this ferry station to attack them. But they are a lot smaller. We'll be facing a kingdom roughly the same size as we are, and so this might be a good warm-up before we go after Wessex, but I would again like to hear what you guys have to say about that. So again, not going to get really any further into this playthrough other than what you guys have seen now, because I want to hear what you guys have to say. So I suppose I'll leave it there, and then I'd also like to hear your thoughts as to how far we should push this. Again, my thoughts were like Hadrian's Wall, but we could attempt to conquer basically the entirety of the British Isles. So both, or not both, but England, Scotland, and Ireland in their entirety. Or, you know, we could just try to do the main island and leave Ireland to its own devices, or some combination thereof. But I would like to hear what you guys have to say before we move any further forward. So thank you so much for watching. I am looking forward to having a very, very exciting playthrough of Viking Conquest with you guys, and I will see you here next time.